Esse daqui é um medicamento biológico de alta tecnologia e que possibilita o tratamento de milhares de pessoas no Sistema Único de Saúde.
Esse é um biofármaco produzido aqui
This is a biopharmaceutical produced here at Biomanguinhos with a technology that we have mastered. We, as public laboratories, have countless challenges to provide the population with dignified access and access to quality, cutting-edge products. Biological products are an evolution of other treatments. In the last 20 years, give or take, these products started to enter the market. These products have a high specialization, a high added technology, and therefore a high cost. Before, they were not accessible to the unified health system, so many patients could only get these products through lawsuits. Behind me in this place, you can see the final phase of the production of the active pharmaceutical ingredient of a biopharmaceutical from Biomanguinhos. The production of biopharmaceuticals in the country is a strategical function. The country needs it. Technology transfer is one of the strategies that Biomanguinhos uses to bring the necessary drugs to the Brazilian population in a faster way. It gives you a jump start for you to start producing. About 125 million units of biopharmaceuticals already developed. Biomanguinhos, since its creation, has been providing answers to the health emergencies in this country. This was the case in the 70s with meningitis, a violent epidemic that killed thousands of people in big cities. It was the first technology transfer. At various times, we had epidemic outbreaks of yellow fever in the country. Later, in the 1990s, we started to have technology transfer in the modes that we have today. We have a policy called PDPs, Partnerships for Productive Development. It is closely linked to the concept of the health industry economic complex. How does the PDP work? Biomanguinhos makes an agreement with a national private company to absorb the technology. Both organizations, the public one and the national private one, absorb the knowledge. Today, we are seeing the beginning of a national private industry producing biopharmaceuticals in this country. And this generates jobs, income, taxes, the construction of technological park, and the generation of knowledge in the country. This industry requires a lot of work to get to the product, and the fruit of the first PDP is in the production phase of the active pharmaceutical ingredient of a drug for the treatment of rheumatoid arthritis and Crohn's disease. And this will be the first tangible result of these PDPs, the nationalization of this product very soon. But there's another gain in this story, that is the technology transfer of the COVID-19 vaccine. Thanks to the knowledge acquired in the biopharmaceuticals technology transfer, we could produce the COVID-19 vaccine in 1 year. We need to be ready to meet the demands of the Ministry of Health. That is why 2 new vaccine and biopharmaceutical plants are being built. The Santa Cruz Campus project, the SIBS project, came with private investors, and soon we will have the biggest plant in Latin America for the production of vaccines and biopharmaceuticals. And Biomanguinhos will also expand to Eusébio to build the production plants for the active pharmaceutical ingredients of the biopharmaceuticals resulting from the PDPs we currently have. Besides promoting health, we have the gain of efficiency, job generation, income, the construction of a stronger national technological base. So this strengthening, this twofold benefit of health and development must be seen as a systemic view of the power of health for the economic development of the country as well. We need to be increasingly prepared to provide the unified health system with all the medications, vaccines, and diagnostic kits that the Brazilian population needs.
Mas tem miséria igual, tem solidão também. A minha janela dá pro céu escuro, mas aqui é o futuro, Se eu abro a torneira, a água voa e as panelas saem pra passear pela garoa. Mano, eu tô à toa, mas quando eu penso em você, eu tô seguro, mãe. Eu tô no futuro. Mas tem miséria igual, tem solidão também. A minha janela dá pro céu escuro, mas aqui é o futuro, Se eu abro a torneira, a água voa e as panelas saem pra passear pela garoa. Mano, eu tô à toa, mas quando eu penso em você, eu tô seguro, mãe. Eu tô no futuro. É no futuro, mamãe, eu. É no futuro, mamãe, eu. É no futuro,
Boa tarde.
Good afternoon. This is the Fiocruz Choir. This song was the song that you've heard during the pandemic. Everyone could have the choir close to themselves. It's an honor to be part of this wonderful symposium. It's our first presentation face-to-face. It's a great emotion for us to be here. And we want to dedicate this presentation to 3 people from the choir that we lost for COVID. That is Betsy, Teresa, and Renato Bonfatti.
Os olhos tristes são sons de sim, são sons de sim, são sons de sim. Não, não, nari, não, não, nari, não, não, nari, não, não. É quebrado o verso no mundo clínico, no hospital da gente. Sempre quis saber se eu cheguei de lá, de onde não se vê, só com a luz do olhar. Onde será que tem o céu do céu? Onde será que nasce o mar e o sol que vem do mar? Como é que se formou o carrossel de tudo que é galáxia em pleno ar? Isso tudo é milagre, é tão bonito, sempre quis saber se eu cheguei de lá,
Boa tarde a todos os participantes.
Good afternoon to all participants online and in person. Thank you for the presentation of the choir Fiocruz, and we will start the opening ceremony of the 6th International Symposium on Immunobiologicals. The choir Fiocruz is an institutional program Fiocruz Saudável, coordinated by Maria Clara Barbosa and conducted by Paulo Malaguti Pauleira. Project Fiotech COGEP. My name is Jorge Oliveira. I'm a journalist and master of ceremonies, and I'm going to conduct this solemnity. I ask you to maintain your phones in silent mode during this ceremony. Fostering innovation, generation of cutting-edge knowledge, and networking among experts to accelerate the development of biotechnology solutions to public health problems are the objectives of our traditional event that, for the first time, is being held in a hybrid format. The 6th International Symposium on Immunobiologicals is part of the commemorative agenda of the anniversary of Biomanguinhos, which this year turns 46. It will be 3 days with an intense program and an ideal space to see cutting-edge knowledge in the field of biotechnology worldwide, meet outstanding researchers and scientists, share what we are doing, and hear feedback from your peers in the poster area, as well as get updates on important topics for careers in the field and find out what prominent companies in the market are offering. We would like to thank our sponsors, Sanofi, Citiva, IBMP, Roche Custom Biotech, AstraZeneca, GSK, Sartorius, Bionovis, iAgent, and Thermo Fisher, who supported us in making this event happen. We also thank the authorities attending that were registered in the ceremonial. Pedro Barbosa from IBMP, Joana Adizi from Sanofi, Clarissa Rodrigues from DAF, Alejandro Lepetic from GSK, Priscila Ferraz, Vice President of Management and Institutional Development at Fiocruz, and Leda Castilho from UFRJ. And to comprise our opening table, we invite the representative of PAHO WHO in Brazil, Socorro Gross, the Secretary of Science, Technology, Innovation, and Strategic Inputs in Health of the Ministry of Health, Sandra de Castro Barros, the Vice President of Production and Innovation in Health at Fiocruz, Dr. Marco Krieger, the Director of Biomanguinhos, Mauricio Zuma, and the Senior Scientific Advisor of Biomanguinhos and Scientific Coordinator of this symposium, Dr. Akira Homa. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats, and I will give the floor to Dr. Akira Homa. I think it's better if I can take this mask off. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the introductions. I'd like to greet the table, our Director of PAHO, Regional Director Socorro Gross, our Secretary of Science and Technology, Sandra, our Director, Mauricio, and our Vice President, Marco Krieger. I'd like to start by saying that in the last 2 years, we really lived and experienced complex times, challenging times. But we are now here to celebrate the 46th-year anniversary, as the Master of Ceremony told us, and the creation of Biomanguinhos. And we are celebrating this anniversary with the scientific technological event on innovation. That is the 6th International Symposium on Immunobiologicals that is happening online and face-to-face. This is a technological and scientific event on innovation with updated information related to Biomanguinhos. It's a place for us to celebrate, disseminate works in the field, to present results, share ideas, to have discussions, changes of knowledge, exchanges of knowledge, and also to recognize and to be known by our peers. So it's a space for improving the institutional and personal relationships. We have 1,620 applications from 20 countries. For the first time, we are having 20 countries with us. We will have 4 roundtables, 5 different panels, 4 satellite symposiums, 5 small courses for the first time with the participation of students at their end of their undergraduate courses, with an innovation session and a game session that you're going to see. The Infinite Loop, which will award the participants. We will have 39 speakers, 22 are foreigners, 16 professors for the small courses, 126 submitted abstracts, and we have selected 90 to be presented as posters. And we also, and from them, we had the special committee, as external special committee, to select 8 posters, which will have the opportunity to be presented in plenary sessions. And this external committee will also select 7 awards. One is a popular award, but we will have other 6 awards, the 3 main ones, Oswaldo Cruz, Carlos Chagas, Auxílio Godoy, and 3 young talents, scientists or researchers or technologists or managers who are presenting their work, and they are less than 26 years old. And we are going to have the award Sérgio Arouca, Henrique Azevedo Pena, and Evandro Chagas. The greatest award, Oswaldo Cruz and Carlos Chagas, are very well known. They are the patrons of Oswaldo Cruz Foundation, and the other, Alcides Global, had the first global patent on vaccines. And I'd like to thank the 10 sponsors, 10 companies. And due to the importance of the sponsorship, I'm going to tell their names: Sanofi, Titiva, Roche, Biotcap, Thermo Fisher, Bionovis, Qiagen, and I hope that in the next year we have many more. And to end, I'd like to thank the support of the president of Oswaldo Cruz Foundation, represented by our Vice President Marcos Krieger, the board of Biomanguinhos, on behalf of our director that is always supporting this symposium, and the sponsors, the special guests, the sponsor Sanofi, Citiva, IBMP, Roche, Custom Biotech, AstraZeneca, GSK, Sartorius Bionovis, Qiagen, and Thermo Fisher, national and international participants, and finally, our executive secretary, Gisele Correia, who had this work for us to get to this point, and with the support of Ana Monteiro and all the support company from Biomanguinhos. Thank you, everyone, and let's start our symposium.
Agradecemos as palavras do Dr. Akira Roma.
So we would like to thank the words of Dr. Akira Roma, and now we will listen to Mauricio Zuma. Hello to everyone who's present and those who are here online. So we've reached the great day, and few people know, but the organization of this event started when the other event ended. So before last year's event ended, we already began organizing this year's event. So Dr. Akira expressed everything that will be happening in this event. That's the result of an organization that took a long time. So I'm very satisfied for this day to have arrived. I'm happy to be here taking part in this opening session. And I'd like to start thanking the members on behalf of the roundtable, starting with Dr. Akira, who is an inspiration to us every day, and the coordinator of this event, which is Dr. Marco Krieger, who's representing the presidency of Fiocruz, Dr. Sandra Barros, who's represented the Ministry of Health, and the Secretariat of Science, Technology, Innovation, and Strategic Materials, with whom we have an intense relationship because of all of the products that we provide to the ministry. And I'd also like to thank Dr. Socorro Gross, who represents PAHO in Brazil. This is an institution that this year completed 120 years, correct, Dr. Socorro? So I'd like to congratulate in advance. This is an institution that does so much for the health in the Americas. So thank you for your presence and for having accepted our invitation. It's an enormous pleasure to be here doing another edition of our International Symposium on Immunobiologicals. And so you guys are on site, but we also have a hybrid part of this event. So we're here for the first time in the Vinicius Fonseca Administrative Center. So this area is based on an ex-president of Fiocruz, who 46 years ago founded our institute. So this is a traditional event of our anniversary event that will be happening tomorrow on the 4th of May. And this is an event that deals with a lot of important topics related to vaccines, diagnostic kits, biopharmaceutical products. It's an event that fosters talks and the exchange of knowledge. We decided that this event would also be a hybrid event. It would also be a virtual event because we found out that during the pandemic, virtual events have a lot of advantages. So we can offer a lot more content, a lot more different content. We can have the participation of speakers that wouldn't normally be able to attend. So our idea is to keep this event in a hybrid mode. And I'd like to express my happiness to be here, taking part in this event in person. We are here in person in the same way as our singers, the choral. They said that this is the first time that they are back, that they're presenting in person. And Biomanguinhos has a lot of responsibility, and that's why this is happening. That is, being able to be here and being able to carry out these in-person events, this is great. But we actually had a very we did really distinguishing work in combating the pandemic, whether with the rapid development of the molecular kits, the supplying and production and scaling of activities. There was also the technology transfer that we did with our partner company, AstraZeneca. There was the absorption and internalization of the technology. And there was also the rapid implementation of 100% of the production of the active pharmaceutical ingredient. We did this in record time. And besides this, this culminated in the fact that we have already delivered 180 million doses to the Ministry of Health. So we've already delivered 180 million doses to the ministry. And I should highlight that this national capacity is important for us to be able to provide rapid solutions to health challenges, both at the domestic and international level. And I think it's very important to recognize, it's important for us to recognize our more than 2,000 collaborators who really dedicated themselves fully and made us all very proud. So we'd like to pay homage to these 2,500 collaborators that we have here in Biomanguinhos today. And besides all of this, we're also working with an idea of scaling up production with the building, with the construction of a new biotechnology industrial complex in Santa Cruz. The bidding round has already been was concluded recently, and we are currently in a phase of signing the contract in order to begin construction. So this is an industrial complex where we will increase our production capacity. We will be able to introduce new products, new presentations. This is a complex that will bring cutting-edge technology to production. So this is an important perspective that this is an important possibility that we have to collaborate with the national health programs, both at the national and international level. This edition of Symposium will also bring important conversations about what we learned in combating the pandemic, and we will also talk about the development of new projects. Amongst them, the choice of Biomanguinhos as a hub for the development of the mRNA vaccine. This was chosen by the WHO together with PAHO. They chose Biomanguinhos and another company in Argentina, Synergium. So they chose also Synergium, and his director is here, Fernando Lobos. So they chose us to be the hub in Latin America. We also got the presence of Afrigen, which will be the hub in Africa. And we have a joint meeting. We are taking use of this opportunity to do our second joint meeting that's being sponsored by PAHO and by the World Health Organization. So I would like to thank the presence of all of the companies that were a part of the proposal of the creation of this hub, and we're really working hard on this. I would also like to thank, as Dr. Akira said, I'd like to thank the partner companies who helped to support the creation of this event. So thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the Scientific Commission, the Judging Commission, who will be judging the posters, and the whole organization, all of the people behind this event, because we know how hard it is to make this happen. And we hope that we know that this event will end very well. So I'd like to thank everybody who's present, those who are present virtually or accompany this event online. So thank you very much. And I'd like to wish everyone an excellent event. So we would like to thank the words of Mauricio Zuma, and now we will listen to Marco Krieger. Good afternoon to everyone. For me, it's an enormous honor, and it gives me great joy to be here representing the presidency of Fiocruz. The president is out of the country right now. She's on an international trip. And so this is the first in-person meeting of CEPI, which is an important organization. And so Nilza wasn't able to be here, but I've already been a part of every single edition of our international symposium. And my birthday is also on the 4th of May. So the first party that I was a part of, basically, Biomanguinhos was a very young organization. I was still a little bit older. But now at 46 years of age, Biomanguinhos is almost as old as me. But jokes aside, during this time, and participating in the symposium, we can see the evolution of Biomanguinhos activities. And these activities have always been important to what we call our program of science, technology, and innovation. Biomanguinhos is one of our, delivers a lot to Brazilian society, and all of this work that's done in our labs and our capacity to develop technology and our capacity to develop and deliver products, this was tested, as was mentioned by Dr. Mauricio Zuma. It was tested during our battle against this health emergency. So the numbers are really important. Mauricio said that we delivered up until now 180 million doses. Last year, we had 152 million doses delivered. And just to give you an idea of the dimension behind this effort, Biomanguinhos produces another 10 vaccines. So it's the biggest supplier of the Ministry of Health, both in quantity as well as quality of doses delivered. But the average delivery was around 120 million doses. Sometimes the numbers went up when Biomanguinhos and Fiocruz were challenged by other health emergencies, such as the case of yellow fever, where we had an additional 40 million doses that year. So despite our production of these other 10 vaccines, just basically one vaccine was produced in 1 year in numbers larger than our historical average. So we doubled our production capacity. And the same can be said regarding the diagnostic tests. But in this case, the scale was much bigger. It wasn't twice the amount of production, but rather it was a number 10 times more than our historical average. And all of this was done in a record amount of time during a time when there was a lot of difficulty, when there was a break in the supply chain. And that's why I think we need to celebrate the way we're celebrating, but we also need to we need to highlight some very important activities. So I think we need to have a discussion, and the symposium is the correct place for this. It's important for us to reaffirm the importance of local production and the health, economic, industrial complex, which allowed Fiocruz and the Butantan Institute, which also was involved significantly in production. Just for you guys to have an idea, in the first semester of last year, 95% of the vaccines that were delivered to the Ministry of Health were produced by Fiocruz and the Butantan Institute. And this was a result of a local production capacity that could be mobilized. It wasn't built from one day to the next. It was built during various decades with a lot of difficulty, but it was able to be mobilized in a record amount of time, and it was able to help Brazilian society to face this challenge. So I think we have a lot of reasons to celebrate, not just the delivery of vaccines, but the delivery of a lot of different products. As you could see from our initial opening movie, we could see the production of new therapeutical agents based on biopharmaceutical products. And one thing that I would also like to highlight is that an important part of the of the Biomanguinhos portfolio, and here I'm relating this to the health emergency, we basically have diagnostic kits that were developed within our innovation system, and all of this was done with external collaboration. And as Mauricio mentioned, we had the honor and the satisfaction of being chosen as one of the institutions that will be responsible for the development of a new production front of not just vaccines, but also new advanced therapies, such as genetic therapies, as is the case with mRNA vaccines that are similar to therapies that have been used for the development of new tools for dealing with cancer and rare diseases. So for Fiocruz is very proud to be able to participate at this moment when these technologies are first arriving in the country. We've been able to incorporate these technologies in our portfolio, such as is the case with the viral vector vaccines. So this has already been incorporated in our portfolio. And then we've got the development of the mRNA vaccines. This was something that was already being done at Fiocruz in Biomanguinhos. So we have a cancer therapy that was able to be quickly adapted. So these investments that have been made by Brazilian society, by the Oswaldo Cruz Foundation, they are generating not just the products that we're delivering, but also they are giving us the capacity to learn from all of these technologies that are being developed. And so we're gaining expertise to develop new products on these new technological platforms. And we're having the opportunity to see a great revolution. In the initial presentation, you saw the valuing of biological products. These are the most modern products for treatment. And today we are seeing the development of this revolution with the new immunotherapeutic agents. So on behalf of the presidency, I would like to thank the opportunity to be called to speak. I'd also like to thank Dr. Akira, who is our patron and the coordinator of our symposium, and who really represents a great part of our pride in relation to the results that Fiocruz has achieved. All of this is a result of the work of Biomanguinhos, and all of this is based on the inspiration that Dr. Akira brings us. I'd also like to thank Dr. Socorro for the support of PAHO, all of the support that they gave us for our activities. They were able to help us and help Brazilian society. I'd also like to thank Dr. Sandra, who's representing the Ministry of Health here. Fiocruz partners with the Ministry of Health for all the activities we mentioned. And I'd also like to thank Dr. Mauricio Zuma. During all of this time, I was able to accompany not just Dr. Mauricio's work, but his team's work. And we've seen a lot of accomplishments. I mean, we've got this new auditorium here. Even this is something new that was delivered. So we had a lot of stuff that was done during a moment of adversity. So in this symposium, we need to highlight that this is the result of a lot of work, and that this is something that we have to defend. We need to put scientific knowledge to work for Brazilian society, and we need to defend the ability to have these conditions and to materialize all of this knowledge into products. So congratulations to all of the collaborators of Biomanguinhos, and congratulations to all of the collaborators of this event.
Agradecemos as palavras de Marco
I'd
Krieger.
like to thank the words of Marco Krieger. We also have the presence of Nasser Boubena, representative of the French Embassy. I'd like to give the floor to Sandra Barros. Good afternoon, everyone. Those attending face-to-face and online. My great respects to Dr. Akira Homa for all his contribution to this country, for all he has helped us and inspired us, and very important moments in our Brazilian history in the field of health and science and technology. I'd like to thank the opportunity of being part of this opening ceremony with Dr. Socorro Gross and also Marco Krieger, representing Fiocruz and the other partners, and Mauricio Zuma, for instance. I'm very proud to be representing the Ministry of Health and the Science, Technology, and Strategic Subjects. The Ministry of Health has been supporting the construction of all of the policies that is being developed through these last years. I'd like to praise this event for its importance, maintaining the innovative character, always looking for new subjects to stimulate the technological developments in biotechnology in Brazil and stimulate the production in the border of science and biology in the biological world in the Americas, expanding to the Caribbean and other countries. It's important to highlight the dissemination of knowledge that has been fostered by Fiocruz in the biotechnology field, and we see the power and results being explored in the scientific field. And we were able to notice during the pandemic, in that critical moment, in 8 months, we had this technological request, and Fiocruz and Manguinhos with their platforms for biopharmaceuticals that with the productive development that is funded by the Ministry of Health as well. And thanks to that, Biomanguinhos and Fiocruz could give a rapid response to the Brazilian population with the COVID-19 vaccine that it was totally nationalized. So this is an unprecedented development. It's a game changer to all innovation that is being built in this country. Therefore, we have the conditions, we have the competence, we have knowledge, and we have the abilities. Yes, we must believe, we must look for the right partners so that we can, in fact, empower the scientific and technological knowledge that Fiocruz has been developing for many, many years as a public institution working for the country. And the Ministry of Health is supporting all of that and many other strategies that are very important for our strategic industrial complex in Brazil. The Ministry of Health has made efforts to monitor the vaccines in development against COVID-19, and we've had many different research studies, and we are following the effects and the efficacy and the reactions, everything that we wish to be monitoring and also fostering for our knowledge. So we are willing to always advance. But it was not only in facing the pandemic that we were so fast to develop the vaccine in our country. We also had other important actions with Fiocruz, as it was mentioned before by the president and the director. And the research studies, they go on because not only due to the facing of COVID, we must maintain our partnerships with our researchers, with our research institutions in Brazil, so that we can invest as well millions and millions in studies and in products, processes that are a result of this funding, so that we can face what is neglected in our country. We know that we have biotechnology, biopharmaceuticals, the best treatments against rare diseases, chronic diseases, oncologic diseases, but we must as well invest in TB, dengue disease, leishmaniasis, yellow fever, HIV, and many other diseases. And for that, we have public calls for strategic research with many partners in the field of science. I also highlight the participation of our Ministry of Health and the development of vaccines with BRICS. It was an important moment when the countries of the region, especially Brazil, could be present and be part of this survey and this set of different developments concerning studies for immunization and COVID-19 vaccines. And to end my speech, I'd like to thank once again for the invitation. And I'd like to say that the Ministry of Health concerning biopharmaceuticals that are being produced and developed and transferring technology to Fiocruz is still supporting firmly to make this process even faster so that we are able to have cutting edge deliveries that are interesting for the population itself, so that we can also bring innovation in our different platforms for technology and innovation and other health products that are necessary to treat the Brazilian population. Thank you and have a good afternoon. Thank you, Sandra Barros, for your words. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to listen from Socorro Gross now. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to greet the members of the table, Dr. Marco Krieger, Vice President, and at this precise moment, the interim president of Fiocruz. That is it's a heritage for the humanity that is helping so much our region in many different fields, but mainly in the development of human talents that are present here today. I'd like to greet the director of Biomanguinhos, a giant institution in terms of innovation with a long tradition and a long history in our region. I'd like to greet Dr. Sandra Barros, my colleague, and the Secretary of Science and Technology, representing Dr. Marcelo Queiroga, our Ministry of Health, and I'd like to thank him as well for our partnership. We have been developing intense work together in many different fields, but mainly in what we talk about communication, the ways of finding a different path. And I'd like to greet my friend, my Dr. Akira Aoma. And we thank him as an organization. Dr. Akira Aoma has been following up the development of the world immunization development for 46 years. He is part of our assisting technical body, and he's key in our works for what we have in our regional program of immunization. He was close to another giant from Brazil, from Rio Grande do Sul, a very simple person that is not with us today, and they are a great pair to help us in this region, Dr. Ciro de Quadros. So, Dr. Akira Homa, I'd like to acknowledge your importance, and we'd like to thank you for everything that you have been given to our organization. Thank you so much. Today is a very special day to us. I'm very happy to be here close to our sub-regional director from South America, Dr. Pier Paulo Valadelli. And we have our assistant in medication vaccines, Maria Los Angeles Cortez, our assistant in immunizations, Dr. Leila Guzman. And we also have two other people. I don't know where they are right now, but Tomás Pipo, who is there, and Fernando, who is also following this event. And why are we here? Why? Because this symposium is very important to our organization. In the last year, our board and member states approved an action plan for strengthening the innovation, the production of health products, so that we could have the opportunity of being more independent from other regions of the world, and so that we could have the opportunity to put together the talents that our region has in order to innovate in many different fields, not only in vaccines, but also in vaccines. But today, this symposium is bringing together the entire world. We have many people participating today. And to this very important end, which is innovation, products for health, but with an objective and one vision of equitable access. And for that, we are always talking about that, about Fiocruz and about Biomanguinhos and others in our region who contributed. But now, especially when we are here in this venue, the second reason why we are so happy is that because we are able to be face to face again, together, always with some protection, wearing masks when we have many people together. But this opportunity of being together today is not so simple. It's been 2 years that we weren't able to get together and share, and also hug one another in many ways. And today this is possible due to innovation, due to science, due to evidence, and due to the contribution of Biomanguinhos in our country. As many people in Brazil, we also took the vaccine, the Brazilian vaccine. And this is a great honor to our Latin America to have a vaccine that was made in its entire production as a technological request that was made in a country in our Latin America. And this is important for when we talk about emergency. The history of Biomanguinhos is a history that has been in our story for a long time. The creation of the Pan American Health Organization has its origin in epidemics and emergency situations in a region that needed to be organized, to have access to markets, to be able to mobilize different people, to prevent situations that were happening 120 years ago. And Biomanguinhos, in this precise moment, is the greatest producer of yellow fever vaccine. And when we think about yellow fever, we think about a disease that is not happening anymore for many people, but it's here. And we have outbreaks. The last urban outbreaks happened in 2008, and we were able to control this outbreak with a vaccine that is produced here in Biomanguinhos. So today, we come together with people from different regions, with developers, with scientists, because in order to innovate, we really have to have this passion for innovation. Because each step that an innovator takes has sometimes 3 different setbacks, but we have to go on, we have to persevere, and we have to be united. That's what is going to make us stronger, more resilient, and will bring more and retain more talents than those we have. Because we could have nations that are not so rich in terms of money, but that are very wealthy in terms of talents, thoughts, and perseverance. Today, to wrap up, I'd like to bring an acknowledgement. 120 years of PAHO on December 2nd, years of history with our different countries, and we had our session in the Brazilian office, and we made the decision of celebrating our 120 years by celebrating the different institutions who have worked with us in this long journey towards change. So I'd like to greet Biomanguinhos for being a giant in our region, in the Americas, in terms of innovation and in terms of production, research, development of what we need, and especially being an institution, being part of an institution that is looking for health equity, solidarity, and that is working in a Pan-American way. On behalf of our director and on behalf of each one of the people whom we work at PAHOS in Brazil and in our region, I'd like to award with this acknowledgement to celebrate your anniversary and our anniversary. Thank you so much. We would like to thank for the words of Socorro Gross, who is awarding Biomanguinhos that is represented by its director, Mauricio Zuma. So this is the end of the 6th International Symposium opening remarks. We'd like to thank the authorities at the round table, and we invite you to participate in the symposium sessions and the presentation of the scientific posters. And please vote in your favorite works for the Popular Jury Award. You may use the app to send questions to different sessions and interact with different speakers using the private chat box, or even you may even schedule a video conference. You should visit the different stands of our partners and the lounge bio. On behalf of Biomanguinhos and Fiocruz, I'd like to thank your for your attendance, and we wish you have a great event.